Father, I come to you in this moment just as I am, not with the right words prepared, not with a clear plan, not even knowing exactly what to ask for. I come because I do not know what to do, and somewhere deep inside me, I know that you do. Let me be still for a moment. Let me stop rehearsing the same questions over and over in my mind, the ones that have kept me awake, the ones that circle back no matter how many times I try to set them down. Let me breathe. Let me simply be here, in your presence, where I do not have to perform, where I do not have to have it all figured out, where I am allowed to say the truth. I am lost about what to do next. Maybe I am not the only one who feels this way today. So Lord, for everyone who has come to this prayer carrying a decision they cannot make, a fork in the road they cannot see past, silence from you that feels heavier than any answer would be, meet us here. You already know what each of us is facing. You do not need us to explain it perfectly. You just want us to bring it. Some of us are standing at a crossroads that terrifies us because both directions feel uncertain, and choosing wrong feels like it might cost us everything. Some of us are waiting for a door to open that has stayed shut for so long we have started to wonder if we misheard you in the first place. Some of us already know, deep down, what we probably should do, but we are afraid of the cost, afraid of what we will lose, afraid of who might be disappointed in us. And some of us are simply exhausted, not from one enormous decision, but from the constant weight of 100 small ones, each one draining a little more of the strength we didn't have much of to begin with. Wherever we find ourselves today, you already know. And so I don't have to introduce myself to you. I don't have to prove that my confusion is significant enough to deserve your attention. You see the whole of it, the parts I have said out loud and the parts I haven't been able to put into words yet. Thank you for that. Thank you that I am not required to have clarity before I am allowed to come to you. I can bring you my confusion exactly as it is. Indecision does not always look the same. For some of us it looks like standing in front of 2 job offers, 2 cities, 2 entirely different futures, unable to tell which one you are actually pointing toward. For others it looks quieter than that, a slow, private uncertainty about a marriage, a friendship, a calling we once felt so sure of and now cannot locate anymore. For some it is as small as how to spend the next hour and as large as whether to move across the world. You do not measure our decisions by their size the way we do. You care about the small hesitations as much as the enormous ones, because you care about the whole of us, not just the parts that look significant from the outside. Some of us are afraid because this decision touches people we love, and we cannot bear the thought of choosing something that hurts them. Some of us are afraid because we have been the one everyone else leans on, and we do not know who to lean on ourselves. Some of us are simply tired of asking you the same question and hearing what feels like nothing back. I bring all of these differences to you now, trusting that you do not need them explained further, only offered honestly. There is a kind of exhaustion that comes from not knowing which way to turn. It is different from physical tiredness. It sits behind the eyes. It follows a person through the day, whispering the same unanswered question no matter what task is in front of them. Lord, you know this weariness. You know what it does to a person to stand at a crossroads for weeks, for months, sometimes for years, turning the same decision over and over, looking for a sign, waiting for a peace that hasn't come yet. I bring that weariness to you now. I don't want to carry it by myself anymore. I think of how many times in Scripture your people stood exactly where I am standing, not knowing which way to go, afraid to move, afraid to stay still. And I think of how you never once turned away from them because they were uncertain. You met Moses in his hesitation. You met Gideon in his doubt. You met the disciples in their confusion on a boat in the middle of a storm they didn't understand. You have never required certainty before. You would show up. You only ask that we come. So here I am, not certain, not confident, not entirely sure what I even want you to say. But here, honestly, with my hands open instead of clenched shut around the outcome I think I need. For the person who has a decision to make by tomorrow and still doesn't know what to do, Lord, be near to them tonight. For the person who has been waiting so long for direction that they've started to make peace with staying stuck, awaken hope in them again. For the person who knows the right choice but is terrified to make it, give them courage that is bigger than their fear. For the parent unsure how to guide a child through something they've never faced before, give them wisdom beyond what they feel capable of. For the one weighing a job, a move, a relationship, a yes or a no that will shape years of their life, steady their heart and quiet the noise around them. You see each one of us individually, even while you see all of us together. That is a mystery I don't fully understand, but I don't need to understand it to be grateful for it. Lord, I want to bring you something today that I have been holding on to with a grip so tight my hands ache. I want to bring you this need to know, this desperate, aching need to have the answer before I take a single step. I have believed, somewhere along the way, that if I could just see the whole path stretched out in front of me, then I could finally rest. But you have never promised me the whole path. You have only ever promised to be with me on it. So I surrender the need to know everything right now. I release my grip on the timeline I had assumed was reasonable. I let go of the plan I built in my mind before I ever brought it to you, the plan I've been quietly hoping you would simply bless instead of redirect. Forgive me for the times I have prayed less to hear from you and more to have you confirm what I already decided. Teach me the difference between asking for guidance and asking for permission to do what I wanted anyway. I surrender my fear of choosing wrong. I have let that fear grow so large in my mind that it has nearly convinced me not to choose at all, as if staying frozen were safer than moving and being mistaken. But Lord, you are not a God who abandons his children the moment they take an imperfect step. You are not waiting to punish me for getting it wrong. You are walking with me even now, even in my hesitation, even in the possibility that I might choose imperfectly and still be held by your grace. I surrender my comparison to other people's paths, the ones who seem to move with such confidence, who seem to always know, who seem to never doubt. I don't know what it cost them to get there, and I don't know what they carry that I cannot see. My path does not have to look like theirs. My confusion does not mean I am behind. It only means I am human, walking through something real and bringing it honestly to you instead of pretending. I surrender my impatience. Teach me to wait without resentment. Teach me that waiting on you is not wasted time, even when it feels unbearably slow, even when everyone around me seems to be moving forward while I stand still. I don't have to understand the purpose of this season to trust that you are present within it. I surrender the outcome. Whatever I decide, wherever this road leads, I release my need to control every result. I cannot see the future, but you can. I cannot guarantee my own safety or success, but you hold both. So I place this decision, this uncertainty, this whole tangled knot of a question, into your hands, and I ask you to hold it more securely than I ever could. And even here, in the middle of not knowing, I want to thank you. Not because the confusion has lifted, it hasn't, not yet, but because you have been faithful to me in every season before this one, and I have no reason to believe you will stop now. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this day, which I did not earn and could not have created for myself. Thank you that I woke up this morning with another opportunity to seek you, to grow, to try again. Thank you for the people who love me even in my indecision, who have not given up on me, even when I could not give them a clear answer about what comes next. Thank you for the doors that have closed in my life. I confess that some of them felt like failures at the time, like rejections, like proof that I had misunderstood you. But looking back now, I can see how some of those closed doors protected me from paths that would have hurt me far more than the disappointment of the closing itself. Help me trust that the doors closing now might be doing the same, even if I cannot see it yet. Thank you for the doors that have opened, sometimes in ways I never expected, sometimes through people I never thought taught task, sometimes through circumstances that only make sense in hindsight. You have shown yourself faithful before. You are not a stranger to me. You are the God who has already proven again and again that you know what you are doing even when I don't. Thank you for the mistakes I have made and survived. I used to believe that a wrong decision would be the end of everything, that one misstep would unravel my whole life. But you have shown me, through the mistakes I have already made, that your grace is bigger than my errors, that you can redeem a wrong turn, that you are not finished with me just because I once chose imperfectly. That truth gives me courage now, standing at this new decision, because I know that even if I get this wrong, I am not beyond your reach. Thank you for the moments of provision I did not expect, the help that came from an unlikely place, the encouragement that arrived exactly when I needed it, the way you have sustained me through seasons I did not know how I would survive. I remember those moments now, and I let them remind me of who you are, a father who provides, who sees, who does not forget his children. Thank you for the people you have placed in my life who reflect your love back to me, even imperfectly, even in their own limited human ways. Thank you for the friend who listened without trying to fix everything. Thank you for the family member who prayed for me when I didn't have the strength to pray for myself. Thank you for the stranger whose small kindness reminded me the world is not only made of hardship. I know these people are not you, but I believe you work through them, and I am grateful for every time your care reached me through someone else's hands. Thank you for my body, even on the days I take it for granted, for lungs that keep breathing without my having to remind them, for a heart that keeps beating through every anxious night, for legs that will carry me forward into whatever tomorrow holds, whether I feel ready or not. Thank you for the ordinary mercies I rarely stop to name: warm water, a roof overhead, a meal on the table, a bed to rest in tonight. These are not small things. They are evidence, quietly repeated every day, that you have not stopped caring for me. Thank you, too, for the things I still do not understand. Don't thank you for pain itself, because I don't believe you delight in my suffering. But I thank you that you are present within it, that you are able to work even through what confuses me, that nothing about this uncertain season is wasted in your hands, even the parts I would never have chosen for myself. And thank you, even now, for this uncertainty itself, strange as that is to say, because it has brought me here, to this quiet place of prayer, to this honest conversation with you that I might not have had if everything were easy and clear. Sometimes the hardest seasons are the ones that draw me closest to you. If that is what this season is doing, then I receive it, even while I ask you to lighten its weight. Lord, there is a wound underneath so much of my indecision, and I want to bring it into the light instead of letting it stay hidden. Somewhere along the way, I was hurt by a decision that went wrong. Maybe I trusted someone and it cost me. Maybe I stepped out in faith and the outcome was painful instead of triumphant. Maybe I made a choice with the best intentions and watched it fall apart anyway. And ever since then, some part of me has been afraid to choose at all, because choosing means risking that kind of pain again. Heal that wound, Lord. Heal the part of me that equates decision-making with danger. Heal the part of me that has started to believe that staying frozen is the only way to stay safe. You did not create me to live paralyzed by fear. You created me to walk by faith, one step at a time, trusting that you are good even when the outcome is uncertain. Heal the shame I carry from past choices I regret. I have replayed them enough times. I have punished myself enough for something you have already forgiven, if I have brought it to you honestly. Help me receive that forgiveness fully instead of continuing to serve a sentence You never asked me to serve. Let me walk into this new decision unburdened by the weight of the last one. Heal my exhaustion. Some of us are so tired from decision after decision, responsibility after responsibility, that we do not even have the energy left to discern your voice clearly. Restore that energy, Lord. Restore clarity to a mind that has been clouded by fatigue. Restore peace to a body that has been carrying tension it was never meant to carry alone. Heal the disappointment of unanswered prayers. Some of us asked you for direction months ago, maybe years ago, and the silence has felt like abandonment. I don't fully understand your timing, and I won't pretend to. But I ask you to heal the bitterness that silence has planted in me, if it has planted any. Help me trust that your delay is not absence, your quiet is not your rejection, that you have not forgotten the prayer I prayed even if the answer hasn't come the way or the speed I expected. Restore my confidence, not confidence in my own ability to always choose correctly, but confidence in your ability to redeem whatever I choose. Let me walk forward not because I finally have all the answers, but because as I finally trust the one who does. Restore my identity. I have let this decision define me for too long. I have let my worth get tangled up in whether I choose the right path, as if my value depends on my performance. But my worth was settled before I ever faced this crossroads. I am your child, loved not because of what I decide, but because of who you are. Let that truth settle over me now, deeper than any anxiety about the future. Restore the part of me that used to believe good things could still happen. Somewhere in the waiting, in the not knowing, hope got quieter than it used to be. I still believe in you, but I confess that I have started to guard my expectations, to brace for disappointment before it even arrives, to protect myself by hoping less rather than risking the pain of hoping and being let down again. Lord, gently teach me to hope again without that protective armor. Let me trust that hope in you is never wasted, even when the answer takes longer than I wanted, even when the shape of the answer looks different than what I imagined. Restore courage where fear has taken root. I have let "what if it goes wrong" become louder than "what if you are with me in it." Turn the volume down on that fear. Turn the volume up on the truth that you have not given me a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. Let that sound mind return to me even here, even now in the middle of this decision I still do not fully understand. Restore the joy that has been buried under the weight of overthinking. There was a time before this decision consumed so much of my attention, when I still knew how to laugh freely, how to enjoy an ordinary afternoon, how to be present without my mind constantly circling back to the same unresolved question. I miss that lightness. Give it back to me, even while this decision remains unsettled. Teach me that peace is not something I have to wait to feel until every question is answered. It can coexist with uncertainty. It can live alongside an open question, because it was never rooted in having answers. It was always rooted in you. I want to talk to you honestly about what it means to have faith when I cannot see clearly. I have always thought faith would feel like certainty, like a bright, undeniable knowing that removes all doubt. But increasingly, I think faith is something quieter than that. I think faith is choosing to trust you even while the fog has not lifted. I think faith is taking the next right step, not because I can see the whole staircase, but because I trust the one who built it. Hebrews tells me that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. I have read that verse many times, but today I want to actually live inside of it. I want to believe that not seeing is not the same as not knowing. I want to believe that you can be trusted even in the parts of this decision that remain hidden from me. I think of how many people in Scripture were asked to move forward without full information. Abraham left his home not knowing where he was going, only that you had called him to go. Noah built something enormous based on a warning about something no one had ever seen before. The disciples left their nets on the shore without a 5-year plan, without a guarantee, without anything but your voice saying, "Follow me." If faith like that was enough for them, let it be enough for me now. I don't need to see the ending to trust the one who is writing it. I don't need a map of the next 10 years to trust the one who holds every one of my days. Your word tells me that you knew the plans you had for me before I ever asked, plans for good, and not for harm, plans to give me a future and a hope. I hold on to that today, even while the specifics remain unclear to me. For the one whose prayer has not been answered in the way they hoped, your silence is not evidence of your absence. You are still working, even in what feels like delay. For the one who feels like they have prayed the same prayer 100 times without a response, you have heard every single one. Not one has fallen to the ground unheard. For the one who is starting to wonder if they even believe anymore, because the waiting has worn down their hope, you are patient with weak faith. You have never demanded perfect belief before. You would remain faithful. For the one who cannot see what you are doing behind the scenes of their life, trust does not require sight. It only requires knowing the character of the one being trusted. I think too about James's words, that if any of us lacks wisdom, we should ask you, who gives generously to all without finding fault. I have read that verse so many times that I sometimes forget how remarkable it actually is. You do not scold me for not already knowing. You do not sigh at another request for direction, as though I should have outgrown my need for it by now. You give generously. You give without shaming the one who asks. That is not how I always speak to myself when I don't know what to do. I am quick to call myself foolish, indecisive, weak, but that is not how you speak to me. You call me your child, still learning, still being led, still worth guiding patiently. I also remember that wisdom rarely arrives the way I expect it to. Sometimes it comes in a sudden, undeniable moment of clarity, but far more often it comes slowly, through a conversation with someone I trust, through a verse that suddenly means something new, through a peace that grows steadier the longer I sit with a particular option, through the simple passing of time that reveals what panic could not. Teach me to recognize wisdom in its quieter forms, not only in its dramatic ones. Teach me not to dismiss an answer just because it arrived gently instead of loudly. Give me the humility to seek counsel instead of deciding in isolation. There is a kind of pride that hides inside independence, the belief that asking for help is a form of weakness. But your word tells me that in an abundance of counselors there is safety, that plans fail for lack of counsel, but succeed with many advisors. Surround me with people who will tell me the truth, even when it is not what I want to hear. Give me ears to actually listen when they do. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I have said that sentence many times, sometimes with resignation, sometimes with fear. But today I want to say it differently. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. And that changes everything about how I carry this uncertainty. Now, Lord, I want to bring this decision itself before you, not vaguely, not in generalities, but honestly, as specifically as I know how. You know exactly what I am facing. You know the choice in front of me, the people it will affect, the fears tangled up inside it, the hopes hiding underneath those fears. I don't have to explain it to you as though you didn't already know. But I want to say it out loud anyway, because there is something sacred about naming a burden in your presence, instead of only carrying it silently in my mind. Whatever this decision is, a relationship, a career, a move, a relationship to release or a relationship to pursue, a risk to take or a comfort to leave behind, I bring it to you now. Search it with me. Show me what I cannot see on my own. Give me discernment to recognize the difference between a genuine leading from you and a fear-based reaction from me. Give me the humility to seek wise counsel instead of deciding in isolation. Give me the patience to wait for clarity instead of rushing toward relief. I ask for wisdom, Lord. the way your word invites me to ask, believing that you give generously to all who ask, without finding fault, without making me feel foolish for not already knowing. I don't come to you ashamed of my confusion. I come to you as a child comes to a father, trusting that you want to help me, not that you are annoyed by my need. Show me what I need to release in order to move forward. Maybe it's a fear of disappointing someone. Maybe it's a fear of financial uncertainty. Maybe it's a fear of being wrong in front of people who are watching. Whatever it is, I ask you to loosen its grip on me so that I can hear your voice more clearly than I hear my anxiety. Show me what I need to believe in order to walk forward in faith. Help me believe that you are good, even if this decision leads somewhere difficult. Help me believe that you are present, even in the parts of the path I cannot yet see. Help me believe that my life is not something I have to engineer perfectly, because it was never mine to engineer alone in the first place. Teach me what trusting you actually looks like in this specific moment, not trusting you in theory, not trusting you as a concept I affirm on Sundays, but trusting you practically today with this actual choice in front of me. Let trust look like taking the next step even without full certainty. Let it look like praying honestly instead of pretending I have peace I don't yet feel. Let it look like being willing to be corrected if I start heading the wrong way instead of stubbornly clinging to my own plan out of pride. Help me understand what it actually means to seek your will, rather than simply seeking your stamp of approval. There is a difference, and I confess I have blurred that line before. Seeking your stamp of approval means I have already decided, and I only want you to bless the plan I brought to you fully formed. Seeking your will means I come with open hands, willing to be surprised, willing to be redirected, willing to have my own preferences challenged if they are not truly yours. Teach me to pray the second way, even when it is harder, even when it means I might not get the answer I was hoping for. Help me hold this decision loosely enough that I can still hear you, but firmly enough that I don't drift through life never committing to anything, always waiting for a perfect sign that may never come the way I imagine it. There is a kind of paralysis that hides behind the language of waiting on God, when really it is fear dressed up as spirituality. Show me if that is what is happening in me. Give me courage to move when moving is what faith requires, and give me patience to wait when waiting is what faith requires, and give me the discernment to know which season I am actually in. And Lord, whatever I choose, I ask you to redeem it. If I take a step that turns out to be imperfect, use even that imperfect step for good. You have done it before in my life and in the lives of so many who came before me. You are not limited by my mistakes. You are not surprised by my missteps. You can work all things together for good, even the things I get wrong, if I keep bringing them back to you honestly instead of running from you in shame. For the person listening who has more than one hard decision in front of them right now, not just one, Lord, be their strength for each one, not just the loudest one. For the person who has to choose between two things that both seem good and doesn't know which is your best for them, give them discernment beyond their own understanding. For the person who has to choose between the comfortable path and the faithful path, give them courage to choose faithfulness, even when it costs something. For the person who is afraid that they've already missed their chance, that the window has closed, that it's too late for the right decision to still matter, remind them that you are a God who restores the years the locusts have eaten, a God who is not limited by human timelines. For the parent trying to decide how to guide a child through a season neither of them has faced before, give them wisdom that exceeds their experience. For the person choosing whether to stay in a relationship or release it, grant clarity that comes not from fear or loneliness, but from truth. For the person deciding whether to take a risk on a dream they've carried quietly for years, give them either the courage to step out or the peace to release it, whichever is truly from you. For the person who has to make a decision on behalf of someone they love and feels the enormous weight of getting it right, carry that weight with them, because it was never meant to be carried by one person alone. For the person facing a medical decision, weighing options that terrify them, unsure which path leads to healing and which leads to more pain, give them wisdom that no doctor alone can provide and peace that surpasses every uncertain outcome. For the person who has to decide whether to forgive someone who has not asked for forgiveness, soften what needs softening and protect what needs protecting, and show them what faithfulness looks like in that particular tension. For the person starting over completely, a new city, a new season, a new version of their life they never planned for, walk with them into the unfamiliar and let it become familiar in time under your care. For the person who feels they have no one to ask for advice, who feels isolated in the middle of this decision, send them someone trustworthy, someone wise, someone who reflects your care for them in the middle of their loneliness. For the person torn between what is easy and what is right, aware of the difference, but afraid of what choosing rightly might cost, give them backbone rooted in love, not fear, and the assurance that obedience to you is never wasted. For the young person facing a decision that will shape the rest of their life, their education, their calling, their beliefs, meet them early, and let this season of seeking become the foundation of a lifelong trust in you. For the older person wondering if it's too late to change course, too late to try again, too late for a new beginning, remind them that your mercies are new every morning, regardless of how many mornings have already passed. Lord, I choose to trust you even when I cannot see the way forward. I believe you are still working, even in the moments when I cannot see the evidence of your work. I refuse to let fear make this decision for me. My future is not outside your hands, no matter how uncertain it feels from where I am standing. You are with me in this waiting, and you will be with me in whatever comes after it. I will not allow the fear of choosing wrong to keep me from choosing at all. I believe that your grace is bigger than my mistakes, past and future. I believe that you delight in guiding your children, not in watching them struggle alone. I believe that clarity will come in your time, even if it has not come yet. I believe that I am not walking this path by myself, even when it feels quiet, even when it feels lonely. I declare that my worth is not determined by whether I make the perfect choice. I declare that you are able to redirect me if I start to wander, and that your correction is a mercy, not a punishment. I declare that this season of uncertainty is not wasted. It is forming something in me that ease could never form. I declare that I am not behind. There is no invisible schedule I have failed to keep. My life is not a race against people whose paths look different from mine. I declare that my prayers are not falling on deaf ears, even when the answer has not come the way I expected it to. I declare that I would rather walk slowly with you than run quickly without you. I declare that the same God who parted seas and provided manna in a wilderness has not run out of ways to guide someone as small and as loved as I am. I declare that fear does not get to make my decisions for me anymore. Faith does. I declare that I am being shaped, not abandoned, in this waiting, and I choose to trust the one doing the shaping. Let me slow down here for a moment. If you are the one listening to this prayer right now, carrying a decision you don't know how to make, take a breath. You don't have to solve everything in this instant. You don't have to have peace about every part of it before you are allowed to keep praying. Just breathe. Let your shoulders drop from wherever they've been tensed. Let your mind rest, even briefly, from the constant replaying of options and outcomes. If you can, whisper this in your heart. Lord, I don't know what to do, but I trust you to lead me. That's enough for this moment. That's enough honesty to bring before a God who already knows everything else you haven't said. Whatever name comes to your mind right now, someone you love who is also facing a hard decision, someone who needs this same peace. Bring them before the Lord with you. You don't have to carry their uncertainty for them, but you can carry them in prayer, setting them down gently in the hands of the one who cares for them even more than you do. And to you, listening, wherever you are not forgotten. Your confusion has not disqualified you from God's guidance. Your hesitation has not embarrassed him. He is not standing at a distance waiting for you to figure it out on your own. He is here, closer than your next breath, patient with your process, faithful to finish what he started in you. Lord, I don't know what tomorrow holds. I have prayed that sentence already tonight, but I want to sit inside it a little longer, because I think there is more peace here than I first realized. Not knowing does not mean being abandoned. Not knowing does not mean being unprotected. It simply means I am human and you are God, and that distinction has always been true, even in the seasons when the path felt obvious. Give me wisdom for tomorrow, not a full map, but enough light for the next step. Give me direction, not a guarantee of ease, but a sense of your presence guiding me forward. Give me patience for the parts that are still unfolding. Give me discernment to recognize your voice among all the other voices competing for my attention, my own fear, other people's opinions, the culture's pressure to always have a 5-year plan. Let your voice be the one I learn to recognize most clearly. Give me courage for whatever tomorrow asks of me. I don't know yet what will be, but I know that whatever it is, I will not be facing it alone. Give me peace that is not dependent on having all the answers, a peace that guards my heart and mind even in the middle of unresolved questions. Give me protection over my thoughts, so that anxiety does not get to write the story of what my future holds. Give me the ability to recognize your guidance when it comes, even if it comes quietly, even if it comes through an unexpected voice or an ordinary moment rather than a dramatic sign. I may not know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds me. That truth is enough to build a life on. That truth is enough to take one more step into the unknown. I think about how many tomorrows I have already walked through without knowing in advance exactly how they would unfold. Some of those days turned out harder than I expected. Some turned out gentler. But in every single one, you were present, even the days I did not notice you, even the days I forgot to look for you at all. That track record means something. It is not proof that tomorrow will be easy, but it is proof that I have never actually walked alone, not once, not even in the seasons that felt the loneliest at the time. So I ask you to go ahead of me into tomorrow. Prepare the way before I even arrive there. Soften the hearts that need softening. Open the doors that need opening. Close, gently, the doors that were never meant for me, even if closing them disappoints me at first. Give me eyes to recognize your hand at work, even in ordinary, unremarkable moments that don't announce themselves as answers to prayer. Sometimes your guidance looks less like a lightning bolt and more like a quiet, growing conviction, a persistent nudge, a peace that simply will not leave no matter how much I second-guess it. Let me learn to trust that quieter kind of leading as much as I would trust a dramatic one. Now, Lord, I want to come back to this place of surrender one more time, more quietly than before. I release this decision fully into your hands. I release the timeline I wanted. I release the outcome I was hoping for before I ever brought this to you honestly. I release my need to control every variable, my need to predict every consequence, my need to guarantee my own safety before I am willing to move. I release the fear that has kept me circling the same questions without moving forward. I release the shame of past decisions that still echo in my mind. I release the comparison to others whose paths look easier than mine. I release the pressure to have it all figured out today. I place all of it in your hands, hands that have never once dropped what was entrusted to them, hands that formed me before I could think a single thought for myself, hands that have carried me through every uncertain season before this one, and will carry me through this one too. Let this surrender not be a one-time act, but a posture I keep returning to. When the anxious thoughts return tomorrow, and they may, let me remember this moment. Let me remember that I have already given this to you, and that repeating the worry does not mean I have to take the burden back. I can lay it down again and again, as many times as I need to, until the peace that surpasses understanding finally settles over the parts of me that are still afraid. Thank you, Lord, for meeting me here. Thank you for not requiring me to have clarity before I could come to you. Thank you for hearing every unspoken fear underneath my spoken words. Thank you for being patient with my process, for not rushing me toward resolution before I was ready, for staying present with me through every version of this prayer I have ever prayed, the confident ones and the desperate ones and this quiet, honest one tonight. I am grateful for this moment of stillness, for this space to simply be with you without needing to perform certainty I don't feel. I am grateful that you are not waiting for me to arrive at the perfect answer before you will love me. You already love me completely, in the middle of my confusion, in the middle of my hesitation, in the middle of this unresolved decision that still hangs in the air between question and answer. I am grateful that your peace does not depend on my circumstances being figured out. I am grateful that I can walk out of this prayer still knowing exactly what to do and still carry real peace, because peace was never about having the answer. It was always about knowing the one who holds it. I trust you with what I cannot see. I trust you with the parts of this decision that are still hidden from me. I trust you with the people this choice will affect, the ones I love, the ones who are watching, the ones who don't even know yet how connected their lives are to this decision I am making. I trust you to guide me gently, to correct me kindly if I veer off course, to use even my mistakes for a purpose I cannot yet imagine. I trust that this season of not knowing is not wasted. I trust that you are doing something in me even now, in the waiting, in the confusion, in the discomfort of standing at a crossroads without a clear sign pointing the way. I trust that when the answer does come, and I believe it will come in your time, in your way, I will look back on this season and see your fingerprints all over it, even the parts that felt most uncertain. So I rest now, not because everything is resolved, but because I have brought it to the only one who can truly carry it. I rest in the truth that you are near to me. I rest in the truth that you have not forgotten me, that you are not distracted by more important matters, that you care about this decision precisely because you care about me. I am not alone in this. I have never been alone in this, even in the nights when it felt that way. You have been present through every uncertain hour, every unanswered question, every quiet prayer I whispered before falling asleep, still not knowing what to do. You are present now. You will be present tomorrow, whatever tomorrow brings, whatever I decide, whatever door opens or closes as a result. There is still hope for this situation, even if I cannot see the shape of it yet. There is still a future ahead of me, even if the next step remains unclear. There is still a God who is for me, who has not given up on guiding me, who delights in leading his children even through their most confused and uncertain seasons. So, Lord, as I close this prayer, I choose to release the panic and receive your peace instead. I choose to release the pressure to know everything and receive the comfort of knowing you instead. I choose to release my grip on control and receive the freedom of trust instead. Thank you for walking with me through this. Thank you for meeting me exactly where I was, not where I pretended to be. Thank you for being a father who guides gently, who corrects lovingly, who never grows tired of his children coming back again and again with the same uncertain hearts. I can keep going even without every answer. I can take the next step even without seeing the whole staircase. I can rest tonight even with this decision still unresolved, because it is no longer mine to carry alone. It is yours now, and I trust you with it completely. God is with me. I am not alone. I can trust you with what I do not understand. I can walk forward even in uncertainty, because you go before me, you stand beside me, and you will never leave me to face tomorrow without you. In the quiet of this moment, I simply say, thank you. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for loving me in my confusion. Thank you for being the God who does not require me to have it all figured out before I am welcomed into your presence. I lay this decision down. I lay down my fear. I lay down my need to control the outcome, and I pick up, instead, your peace, a peace that does not depend on knowing what to do, but on knowing the one who already does. If you have walked through this entire prayer with me tonight, still not knowing your next step, I want you to hear this clearly before we close. That is all right. You do not have to leave this moment with a 5-step plan. You do not have to leave with the fog completely lifted. You only have to leave knowing that you were heard, that you are loved, and that the God who has walked with his people through wilderness after wilderness has not lost track of you in yours. There will be more nights like this one, nights when the answer still has not come, when the path still looks unclear, when you will need to return to this same posture of surrender all over again. That is not failure. That is what walking with God actually looks like for most of us, most of the time. Not one dramatic moment of clarity, but 1,000 small returns to trust, 1,000 quiet decisions to keep believing even without seeing, 1,000 honest prayers exactly like this one. So return here as often as you need to. Bring your unfinished decisions. Bring your unresolved questions. Bring the version of yourself that still doesn't know what to do, without pretending to be more certain than you are. You will always be welcome here, in this quiet space of honest prayer, because the God who meets you here has never once required certainty as the price of admission. He only asks that you come. And when the answer does finally come, whenever that is, however it arrives, look back on this season and remember that you were faithful even in the waiting. Remember that the uncertainty did not go unnoticed. Remember that every quiet prayer, every honest tear, every small act of trust in the middle of not knowing was seen, was heard, and was never wasted. God is with me. I am not alone. I can trust him with what I do not understand. I can walk forward even in uncertainty, because he goes before me, he stands beside me, and he will never leave me to face tomorrow without him. There is still hope. There is still a future. And there is still a God who holds it all gently, faithfully, completely, even now. Amen.